the record. Very good evening to everybody, or depending what part of the world. It's evening here in the UK, and I have a guest that may be familiar to you because it seems only minutes ago, David, that we were speaking with you, funnily enough, about speaking.
Right.
And just so that you know, a few of my friends actually, watched that discussion from start to end and really got inspired with it, and gave some very positive feedback. So, just for the benefit of those listening in, wondering why we're here again, it's because I happen to know that you've created a community, and I'd like you just to kind of talk a little bit about that for those whose interest was piqued, David. But just before we do, and just sort of catching up with what's happened since, I happen to know that one of the things we talked about, your Speaker at Sea experience, has now been filled up.
It has, yeah. We're setting sail in September from beautiful Vancouver, Canada, and we have filled the spots for that one, and we're super excited. We have some amazing experiences planned for the attendees of that. And the second one, we are now taking deposits for our next Speaker Experience at Sea, which sets sail April 29th. The location is yet to be announced. It is a secret, so we will be announcing that at the end of September, but we are taking deposits because we know that one is going to sell out. And we do keep these a small group experience so that you get a lot of access to me and a lot of the stage time and the development and discovery time to really take your talk, your signature talk, your whatever experience that you want to deliver really into new, uncharted, unapologetic territory.
Literally uncharted waters. So I know it's a secret, but I am going to ask you, is it going to be the same cruise or different location?
Different location,
Right.
different cruise line. Both very exciting. And one of the bonuses is people who are going to be my clients, if you're actually working with me as a retained client at that time, you will also have the opportunity to get yourself a speaking engagement in port.
Wow.
In April when we do that one. So it's pretty big deal, and you'll get all of that shot and photoed, and you'll be able to come back and say you are an international speaker and have all of the proof to show for it.
Oh my goodness, wow, that's a big deal, isn't it? Because there's so many people out there who, are constantly here, oh, I'm struggling to get speaking gigs. And so to have that as part of what you're going to be helping people with, I think that's really awesome. Just to loop back and remind people, anyone who's listening afresh here, with David, only a few weeks ago, wasn't it? We were talking about speaking and whether you're speaking as part of your business or some sort of social entrepreneur thing or a vision. This isn't just about standing up and speaking, is it, David? You work with a very select type of person. Can you just remind us who that type of person is? Because I think this is very important.
Yeah, so I love to work with, on purpose, entrepreneurs, from entrepreneurs to executives, but who have a bigger message than just making money.
Yeah.
And so if you understand the power of speaking, in that right now I am being a speaker, right now you are being a speaker, every time you do a Facebook Live or anything like that, you are a speaker, and you understand the power, the influence, the impact that you can create when you actually identify yourself as someone who has value and vision to add and deliver to the world. It's that person that I want to work with, someone who's up to something big.
Right. And that's a very important point, because there are all sorts out there in business, and some people just want to make a living, pay the bills, and speaking is part of their business. And then there are others who are more visionary, which is what I'm hearing you talk about, people with a vision that involves in some way helping and inspiring other people, making the world a better place, as we say, or impacting. So just to underline that for people whose interest has been piqued. And I really want to kind of lead on quite nicely from that, because I know you've been up to something, because I spy on you. And I know off the back of our last talk, you've created something and put something together, which I'm really happy that you've done so, because here in England we have things like Toastmasters. Maybe you have that over there. Physical location, people travel there, and it's very focused around speaking, but a much wider gambit of people or audience there. But you put something together online, community, and I'd like you to just talk to us about that, and share with folks, so that anybody who's looking for a place to come and develop in the vein you've spoken to can do so.
Yeah, so I'm so excited about it. It's the Unapologetic Speakers Community, and it is an online membership community that allows for those on-purpose entrepreneurs, those people who want to truly develop themselves as speakers and to become leaders of their own tribes. It's a place for them to discover, develop, deliver, and grow their platform in a safe community of other like-minded business owners, entrepreneurs, executives, and beyond. So in the community, you get access to me. There's an extended network of what I love to call unapologetic experts. And the unapologetic experts range from publishers, publishing consultants, photographers, stylists, videographers. We have a meetup specialist. We have someone who loves to call herself the fairy pod mother. So if you ever want any podcasting expertise. And so there's a series of ongoing trainings, interviews. We also feature the members. We've had 2 member features in the last couple of weeks. One of them, a creativity empowerment coach who's up to some amazing things. Another one, a digital nomad, Derek. He's been traveling around the world, has an amazing podcast called The Art of Adventure. And he's now actually giving coaches the opportunity to get published in a book, guaranteed bestseller. All you have to do is write 1 chapter. And I like to joke, membership has its privileges. The offer that he made inside the community for members only is a much smaller investment to make than anybody else out there. For a couple $100, you can become a best-selling author in a book with 99 other amazing coaches. And you have that as your calling card, right? And you build another network. So I'm really interested in connecting other amazing entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, executives who want to create something bigger in the world. So you get that group support, that group networking. It's also a place for you as your testing ground. So we use a hashtag language, so you can spotlight, you can have a dress rehearsal, you can test things out in different ways. So for example, if you're shooting video for your website, you can test it out in the community before you post them live and get the feedback that you need. Just to test things out. If you want to test out something that you're wearing or something you want to post on Facebook, or share it out in the community, and everyone is giving each other feedback and just encouraging each other to build and grow. And we all know the more practice we get, the better we get, the more natural we get, the more audacious we get with our message. And I wanted to create a place where people could do that safely, supported, and with expert feedback to get that access to me. So if you post something in the group, I will always give you feedback on it, along with all these other people who are also like-minded. So I'm super excited about the development of this community. I'm on a mission to grow it. I don't want it to be thousands and thousands. I'm sure it's going to go there eventually. I'm on a mission right now to grow it to about 300 members, because I think that's a nice, good audience for everybody, a nice platform for everyone to grow and learn from. It gives our experts a nice audience of people to sort of work with so that they can ask all the questions that you want and get your questions answered. And one interesting point I want to make is that the experts are members also. Which means that if you're in the community and, hey, you have a podcast question, well, you just tag our unapologetic expert, who is Christy, and she will answer your question about podcasts, right? So they're members you don't have to wait for a training to come on, or you don't have to wait. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm developing my speaking business, I need to talk to someone about getting my book published. Okay, well, we have a publishing consultant. I need to talk about a content creation calendar. Okay, well, we have our copywriter who she does that. That's her specialty.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about getting creative, okay, well, we have another member who's the creativity empowerment coach, right? So there's all sorts of different avenues, and we're building it. We're slowly rolling out all the experts, so we're not gorging people on information, but it's all going to be indexed in one place where you can then go through and look at who everybody is and say, oh, I need to talk to this person. And I've vetted everyone very carefully. These are people that I've done business with, that I've experienced online and in person through other people who've done business with them. And so I know that they're fully in integrity and are up to something big also, and have the heart for working with other people who are up to something big. This is not a pitch zone. This is not one of those groups where you come and you just come and spend more money, right? It's a membership. So there's a small investment to make to be in it, but it's like minuscule investment compared to the access that you get inside.
Yeah, and what I love about that, because we talked earlier, didn't we, about your Speaker at Sea experience, and for those who may live the other side of the world who'd love to be there, but the traveling's the cost, or it's just outside of their reach right now. What I love about what you've done is in creating this community is a place that people can go to, so it's not an all or nothing experience. Well, if you can't come to my higher ticket experiences, then there's nothing for you. You've created a place where people can actually put their foot on one rung and get in and start to evolve. And I think that's nice that you've catered for the little guy in that way, but not in a small way, in a way that keeps, as you say, that intimacy. But at the same time allows people to to go in there in a safe place, which is important, because a lot of people are quite they get very tense when you start talking about speaking and actually showing up there and exposing themselves in front of a camera. It can be quite scary. So having a safe zone, a safe harbor in that respect is great. And I love the way at the same time it's very practical. It's not about you just say teaching people, but drawing on the collective intelligence of your team, and at the same time helping people get more connected.
Right. And for me, like introducing other people to the amazing entrepreneurs and business owners that I've come in contact with, to make sure that if you want to publish a book, that you go with a publisher has integrity. Because there's a lot of people out there who will just take your money. We know it in every industry, right? And so I wanted to create a place, because especially in the speaking industry right now, there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there, speaker coaches and gurus, who are very happy to take your money. And unfortunately, the results don't follow. The results are not commensurate with the level of investment. And it makes me really sad. And that's why I wanted to create this place to bring these people together, so that you're right, like the little guy can start out and really build it. And even if you're experienced already, that's why I've had so many experts want to be a part of this, because they recognize the value of that network of people who are up to something bigger, not people who are just up to like cashing in on their next speaking engagement or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of parts and pieces that come into this. It's even about building your own coaching practice or consulting practice, because when you speak, you're going to have to sell something on the back end, because not very many people are going to become independently wealthy simply from speaking. There's just not, that demand out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm smiling because I've had a few conversations this week with people who are surprised that I would go into a speaking community, for want of a better term, because they have this perception, well, Anita, you're out there, you're speaking, you seem to be comfortable, confident. And my answer to them, and I share this again without apology, is that I used to play football, and one of the things I was known for saying is that most of the mistakes, over 90% of mistakes made, are down to fundamentals, and therefore never abrogate, never abandon the fundamentals and practicing them. And so, and so I say to them, that's why I get involved in communities like this, because there's never a point of arrival. I can always do better. And I know one of the things, so that's why I'm in your community. Only just joined, so I'm on catch up with technology and that. But what I can say, and I again say that freely, is that what has been nice for me, even where I'm at in my journey, is that I think often with whether we're talking about solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, particularly visionary people with a vision, often their journey feels very isolated.
Absolutely.
And so for me, just kind of like, even in that first week of being there and sort of messaging you a few times to say, I put this in the wrong place, what struck me very, very early on is that the way you've built it and the energy that's already in there breaks that isolation. And once you break the isolation, it just causes people to come out of the woodwork and, belly flop if you need to when you're practicing. But in a very supportive environment. And most people
Yeah.
won't even open their mouth unless they think they're going to get it right. So,
Look, and so just a quick little example, we have this beautiful member. His name is Raz. He's originally from Romania, as he calls it, Dracula's country. And he's now living in Sydney, Australia. And he had some trouble doing his intro video. And I said, well, what's the trouble? He's like, well, I'm not confident. And, like, I'm just not sure about video. So I did an interview style with him just the other day, and we posted it in. And this man, talk about vision. He has this company that he's opening, or his enterprise. Basically, the mission is to make 1 billion people smile in the world. And I'm like,
wow.
okay, I want to work with someone who's talking in billions,
Yeah.
And so for me to take a few minutes out of my day to jump on a Zoom and record it and have him introduce him to the community to go through it, because he felt like he couldn't do it on his own. He just needed that extra little support. Well, so now he's on the way, and people are going to get exposed to his idea of getting 1 billion people to smile. More people are going to connect with him, and it just gives that push, right? I love that. The network is so important. Network and community, that's all that it comes down to. We can't do it by ourselves. We simply cannot.
Yeah, and I would go further with what you've just said, that it's not just about the networking, it's about who you network with. And when you said earlier on, you've been very careful to vet people, and I understand why you're saying that, because you're right. Sadly, we live in a world, and a business world, where the good, the bad, and the indifferent exists out there in business practice. And so the fact that you've taken care to kind of vet people to the best of your ability, so that you can create a community experience where people can genuinely feel the energy of being on side and supported, and developing, and as you say, getting access to you as well as the other experts, I think is, certainly I can feel that difference. There's, you can go into a Facebook group, and then there's a community like this, and there's, it's a different feel when you take that sort of care. So, I can say that directly from experience. And
Thank you.
again, I just want to open this up because I know I've spoken to some people who've been interested, but perhaps are kind of wanting to dip their toes a bit, David, because whilst I know you, this is the first time they're seeing you, or the second time. And by the way, folks, we'll be having David back. This isn't the only time. And because also in my neck of the woods, I have a huge responsibility to be bringing people of value to the table to help you. So we're working in a similar groove and vein here. But David, I know, there are people that will come and go, yeah, that sounds great, but how can I just kind of dip my toes before I make even, as great an investment as that small investment might be for the little guy? I've got 101 other things going on, but how can I just dip my toes? What would you say to that?
Yeah, so I've created some free samples, let's say, because everybody loves to sample the buffet. So, yeah, I've created a free training sequence. It's a 5-day training, absolutely free. It goes through the 5 secrets to go from unheard to unforgettable. And these are things that I've learned over my lifetime, 20, 25 years of working with performers, presenters, and speakers, of what are really the 5 key things, or 5 of the big key things that make all the difference. And that's totally free. You can opt in. There's no tricks. There's nothing on the back. I'm not stealing your email for anything. In fact, it all happens on Facebook inside of Messenger. Great new technology. And yeah, you can simply go to 5secrets.unapologeticspeaker.com, and you get daily, for 5 days, a little tip and a little video. They're all 5 minutes or less of me teaching you this principle and showing you how to apply it in your speaking, in your business, in your life.
Oh, wonderful. So I'm imagining that from that five sort of step, those tips that you're giving, that it will allow people to kind of evaluate where they're at and
Yes.
realign if necessary, or tweak, adjust differently.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of tips and bite-sized bits because of the overwhelm that's out there. So that's great. And for those of you who have an ailing or failing memory, don't worry about that, because I'll put the link, underneath this video wherever you're watching it, so that you can access that from David. David, that sounds great, and certainly I can say, although I've known you for a while, I didn't hesitate to join your community, because I think that for those of us who are involved in something that's bigger than us, we feel that responsibility to really kind of, create and deliver high value. And so anything that can help us get better in that. And I know for me, I mentioned three things: getting more clarity, more cohesion, but ultimately to be able, through what I bring to the table, to capture the hearts, the minds, the imaginations of people, so that they will want to experience the new possibilities for their life. And that is,
Right.
that is an ongoing work. It's an ongoing journey. And anything I can do to improve that, I think, and being around people like you is more valuable than over and beyond the time you're giving and the membership there. So if folks, if any of you have any questions, please feel free to plant them to me under this video, and if I don't know the answer, I'll jump on David again. No
Yes,
pressure.
please.
And
Yeah, no.
any sort of parting thoughts or words from you, David, before we just close off this section?
No, I think the most important thing to recognize is that, I created this community because what I started to realize as I worked with more and more people is that the people who are already like out there speaking and, they're doing it is like, it's very isolated, and most of them are not really willing to help out all the other people because they're busy, and it's not that they don't want to, it's just that they're busy doing it. So
Yeah.
there's really no place then for the people who are really have these big ideas, big mission, big vision. I went to an event yesterday and I saw a number of people get up on stage and do these 10-minute versions of their talks, and I hate to be critical, but they just missed the boat. And it's little things that would make the difference, little
Mm.
things. And that's why I put this together, is for the people who have this big heart, big message, and who are starting to step onto the stages. Give them the opportunity to have a community, have a network, and have a support system to really get them there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that. I cannot add or take anything away from that. So,
Thank you.
without further ado, David, thank you for jumping on and just introducing your community. And, folks, here's another resource I'm just sharing with you from people I know who are not just doing something great to help people, but are really heart-based in the way that they're coming to serve people like you. So, we'll look forward to further dialogue in the future. So bye for now.